This month, my small two-car Turo fleet made $2,500 in revenue. Literally the best month I've had renting my cars out so far, and with it being summer right now, tons more people are visiting this area, resulting in more bookings on my cars. But starting this video off here at the airport parking lot, you guys can see my Nissan Sentra just got back from a trip at the airport last night, but I haven't had time to pick it up yet. But to grab the key, all we gotta do is take this box off the front side tire, and now we're gonna go ahead and unclip the box to get our key. Opening up the Sentra and heading inside this super hot Turo car. It looks like the guests left me the Sentra in pretty clean condition. They did leave some drinks in, which is fine, but turning the car on, I'm interested to see, did they leave me with a full tank of gas? It looks like the guests left us with a full tank of gas and 18,858 miles on the odometer now. I've only been renting this car out for about 8.5 months, and so far we've made $7,785 in booking revenue, including $123.19 just from this car's 3-day rental. But that booking revenue doesn't come without expenses, such as paying for Ubers when dropping off the Turo car or picking it back up, and also paying for airport parking, which can really add up if you let your car sit in the airport lot like I did with the Sentra. 24 hours of sitting in the lot later, I knew my parking bill wasn't gonna be cheap. $18 down the drain. Not to be cheap like Graham Stephan or Dave Ramsey, but the first 30 minutes of parking at that lot is typically free, so when a Turo car gets returned, I try to get there as fast as possible to maximize the profit we make. Nonetheless, over the last 8.5 months, I've done my best to add up all the operating expenses on both cars I'm renting out. And for the Sentra, our biggest single expense has been insurance, totaling $800 since I started renting the car out. Everyone asks me about this all the time, but no, this is not commercial insurance. This only covers the vehicle for the short period I'm driving it between rentals. Turo does all the on-trip insurance for you by charging the guest a fee when they book the car, and in my case, I'm on the 80-20 plan, meaning Turo takes 20% of the revenue I make, and in exchange, in the event a renter crashes my vehicle, I have a $750 deductible. There's up to $750,000 in third-party liability insurance, and Turo pays 100% of eligible damage costs above my deductible. But all the revenue figures I share with you guys in this video is after Turo takes their cut. But that said, on the Nissan Sentra, I only started paying for maintenance recently, since when I bought it from the dealership, the first 3 oil changes were completely free. So maintenance has only totaled about $65 so far. But other expenses that have really added up so far renting the Sentra on Turo has been paying for Ubers and paying for airport parking, which so far has totaled a combined $550 for this car. That's not too much money, since luckily I only live about 2 miles from the airport, and sometimes I either ride my longboard or ride an electric scooter there to save money. But for those of you who live further away, I definitely recommend adding a delivery fee to cover your expenses when you deliver the car to the airport. That said, the next trip on this Nissan Sentra isn't for a couple of days, and it's currently priced at $59 per day. My other car, the Subaru Outback, is currently gone since it went on a rental yesterday, which was Monday, and it comes back on Saturday for total earnings of $257. But now heading inside the Sentra, the total profit we've made after the expenses we talked about earlier is $6,370. But of course, that doesn't account for expenses like the taxes I paid when purchasing the car, the service warranty I bought, and also depreciation, which with 18,000 miles on the odometer now has been significant. But before we dive into depreciation numbers on the Sentra and the Subaru comes back from its rental, let's talk about something that's been saving me a ton of time and money lately. This video sponsor, Cook Unity. They sent me a box of chef-made meals, and I've got to say, this has low-key become my new way of eating. For example, this meal right here is the chimichurri steak with blistered shishito peppers cooked by Chef Art Smith. This meal sounds super fancy, so let's go ahead and take off the top cover, peel off this plastic part, and after we remove the sauce cup, we're gonna go ahead and open our microwave and heat this meal up for 2 to 3 minutes. Just a couple minutes later, the meal is fully heated up and ready to enjoy, and it honestly looks and tastes like something you get at an expensive restaurant. And every week there's hundreds of different meal options you can select from keto to high protein or even gluten-free. Whatever your diet is, Cook Unity has great meals to offer you. It's way cheaper than ordering DoorDash or eating out every single day while still saving you time and bringing you healthier meals. So be sure to click the top link down below in the description to try them out and use code WOLF50 to get 50% off your first order of chef-made meals delivered to your doorstep. Again, Cook Unity is offering you guys 50% off your first order with code WOLF50. So click the top link down below in the description to try them out today for a great price. Now let's talk depreciation on the Nissan Sentra, which by the way, it's currently gone on a big 8-day rental after Turo fees earning us $320.96. Taking a look at the Sentra's value on KBB, it says it's currently worth $17,140 if I sell the car private party. But after buying the vehicle from the dealership, paying registration taxes, and also buying buying a warranty that covers any major repairs on the car up to 150,000 miles, our total cost for it came out to 26,000 bucks. If we include depreciation in our expenses, the profit on the Sentra is currently negative at $2,490. But the chart on screen here shows that essentially the longer I've been renting this car out, the closer we've gotten to profit. But at our current rate, the car will reach 150,000 miles after being rented out for 5.5 years, at which point we'll have made $50,000 in technical profit after accounting for things like airport parking, paying for Ubers, and even general maintenance that the warranty doesn't cover. And at that point, if I'm able to sell the Sentra for, let's say, $2,000, we'll have made $26,000 in profit over 5.5 years. Buying a new car to rent out on Turo is definitely playing the long game, since depreciation on a car is the highest within its first year of age. And according to my calculations, we should break even renting out the Sentra and then start profiting within the next 4 months. But moving on to the next Turo car, the Subaru Outback just got back from its long rental. As of a couple days ago, the Subaru Outback got unlisted by Turo, which means it'll no longer come up in search when people look to rent cars on the Turo platform. And this wasn't for any major reason other than the fact that I failed to complete the Turo maintenance inspection, which has to be completed once annually by an ACE certified mechanic for any vehicle you want to rent out on Turo. Luckily though, I did find a method to get the Subaru relisted on Turo pretty quickly, since apparently Turo offers virtual maintenance inspections now, which only take about 30 minutes and are done by a third-party company for $25. And we have an appointment coming up in about 45 minutes at 9:30 a.m. Truthfully, I am a little bit worried if the Subaru will pass the maintenance inspection or not, since the back piece of this front mirror is still broken ever since I bought the car. And although the headlight is still functional overall, I'm not sure if Turo allows this piece to be broken or not. But on that note, guys, I just got a text saying the Zoom call is ready to start, so we're gonna click and join this meeting. Hello?
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Alrighty, sir. If you can please reverse your camera so that I'll be able to take the pictures for your vehicle.
The virtual maintenance inspection with the mechanic then began, where he checked out the car over Zoom, ultimately giving me a passing grade. After about a 20-minute call with the mechanic, he ended up passing the Subaru's inspection. Now we gotta get it prepped since it has a Turo trip in about an hour. The car remained rented out the entire weekend. Now it's Monday, and I just walked with Sherlock to go pick up the Subaru from the airport. And now that we're here back at the house, checking up on the Subaru to see how clean the renters left the car, you guys can see it's in almost perfect condition. The car's clean enough on the inside that I probably don't need to vacuum it whatsoever before I rent it out again. Unfortunately though, the renter on this trip only gave us a 4-star review. Not that that's terrible, but we're obviously shooting for 5 stars. And I think the reason they docked me is at the end of the trip, they sent me a text saying there is a loud speed-dependent humming coming from the rear of the vehicle. Maybe transaxle or bearings did not affect the performance of the car, but was mildly annoying for rear passengers. That's the only downside of renting used cars on Turo, is you're gonna run into more maintenance issues. But despite this, reviews on the profile have still been pretty solid overall with few complaints. Sitting back in the office now, so far since I started renting the Subaru out in mid-January of this year, it's earned $5,392 in revenue, with the best month so far being last month in June, where we made nearly $2,500 in bookings. But on that revenue, we've obviously had some expenses like $700 so far for off-trip insurance, $400 for maintenance, and that includes things like buying new wiper blades, installing a new car battery, and of course doing consistent oil changes. Then for the Subaru, I've spent another $300 paying for Ubers when delivering the vehicle, paying for car washes, and also paying for parking at the airport, leaving me with an operating profit so far on the Subaru of $3,992. Then finally, we have depreciation, which for this car hasn't been nearly as significant as with the Sentra, since I bought it used with 80,000 miles on the odometer. Inside the car now, you guys can see it's currently sitting at 90,461 miles. So since I started renting the Subaru out, it's been putting on average about 1,400 miles every single month. And according to KBB, the car is worth about $13,650 if I were to sell it right now. And after paying $14,500 for the car in January of this year, we've only lost about 850 bucks to depreciation, bringing us to a total profit renting the Subaru out for almost 7 months of $3,142. And that number should continue to increase as we keep getting bookings on the car and renting it out. Which brings me to the next question, time. How much time do I put in managing the fleet every single week? Have I had any issues with renters? And is the profit we make in the end even worth it after all the time I put in? The answer to that honestly is I think yes. When I'm not traveling and I'm staying at the house, managing the fleet doesn't take too much of my time. We're talking 3 hours per week at most to service both of the vehicles. And in a month where I bring in $2,500 in revenue or 2,000 bucks in operating profit, I'd say it's pretty worth it. Obviously, there's also depreciation, but I hope you guys understand understand that on a month-to-month basis, it's pretty difficult to calculate that. And so far, since I've started back up on the Turo journey, nothing crazy has happened. It's definitely worse for content, but better for the overall business. But in the roughly 9 months I've been renting cars out again, I haven't had a single damage claim. No one's trashed my car in any major way. And with the possible exception of maybe one smoking claim where someone smoked in my vehicle and I charged them a $150 fee, everything else with the fleet has been smooth sailing. But the issue with the fleet comes in when I'm traveling. For example, back in May, I went to San Francisco for about a week, and during that time, both of the cars couldn't be rented out since I wasn't physically in Milwaukee. And that resulted in lower earnings on both of the vehicles I'm renting out, with total income of $1,071 for both cars. And I'm about to go traveling once again. Literally, as I'm editing this video, I'm on a flight to Berlin, Germany, and I plan to stay in Germany for about 2 weeks. But this time, I have a plan. I texted a friend of mine asking if I can pay him 25% of the revenue the cars make if he manages the fleet while I'm gone. And although this will result in lower profit margins, I think it'll definitely be worth it since the cars will make more revenue, and now the fleet will be making me totally passive income for the next 2 weeks while I'm in Germany. So on that note, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I definitely want to purchase a third Turo car before the end of the year to keep expanding our fleet and growing the revenue. But for now, I have to keep on saving up the profit we make until we get enough money. So if you guys are excited for that, be sure to drop a like, and I will see you all in the next video, probably in Germany. Peace out.